So for example number 4, kind of the same as example number 3, we're asked to find sine and cosine if cotangent equals 5 over 12, and the terminal side is in the 4th quadrant. So remember, what we're looking for is I'm starting on the initial side, and I'm rotating around, and somewhere over here in quadrant 4 is my value. Also, what I need to know is there's a point right here that exists where my x value is positive and my y value is negative. That's going to be important when we go to do square roots, if we do square roots. Okay? And so we could use the Pythagorean identity. We could use anything, really. So what do you guys want to do? Well, I know this. I know that cotangent of theta is equal to x over y. In other words, and we have to decide which one's positive and which one's negative. So it'd probably be negative 5 over the y value, which would be 12. So this point right here, we've kind of found negative 5, comma, 12. No, wait, I got that backwards. The 12 is negative. Why'd you guys let me say that? So the 12 has to be negative because the y, because it lives in quadrant 4. I was thinking in terms of quadrant 3. So that means I go over 5 units and down 12. So this would be my right, perfectly drawn right triangle. And this line segment here would be negative 12. And from here to here would be 5. Now, we could use a Pythagorean identity to figure out what the hypotenuse is. I think we know what it is, right? We could use any identity that we want. We also know that tangent or cotangent is also the same as cosine of theta over sine of theta. But we have to be careful here in the sense that you'd have to assume what the radius is. All right, so how do you guys want to approach this one? Do you guys want to use one of the trig functions or what? Because when you do this, remember that cosine is going to be x over r, and then sine would be y over r, so we don't want to forget about r. When we do the math, the r's will cancel to give us this value, but we probably, when we write sine and cosine, we probably should say sine of theta and think in terms of y over r, because it's not necessarily the radius of 1. So probably the easiest way to do this is just go ahead and do the Pythagorean theorem, right? So we know that x squared plus y squared is equal to r squared. And then again, also, that means that 5 squared plus y squared is equal to r squared. Well, 25 plus 144 is equal to r squared. That gives us 169 r squared. And when you take the square root on both sides, it's just 13. What's that?
Is it negative 12?
Yeah, this is technically negative 12, but when you square it, it'll be a positive 144. Yes, good call. So then this becomes negative